We recently released a paper called Pragmatic Pathways to Organisational Change. What we're seeing is this sort of increasing pace of change, which is causing a heap of disruption and uncertainty, and organisations struggling with what to do. The other side of it is that we're seeing competitive pressure mounting, and one of the things that we've seen in our research in Australia is that perhaps the big mover in Australia over the last 30 years has been competitive intensity. But interestingly enough, as the pace of change continues to quicken, we're finding organisations almost becoming risk averse, not really sure of how to move forward. So we developed this model called Pragmatic Pathways, and effectively it's about how do we get alignment on what we want to do, and once we've got that, how do we actually go about doing it? What we've traditionally seen, I suppose, are two well-trodden paths. First path is incremental change, so cost cutting or product improvement at an incremental level, or alternatively the Big Bang approach, which are, I suppose, two extremes. The Big Bang approach could be an M&A, could be a large-scale technology project, which tend to have multi-million-dollar budgets, multi-year, large implementation teams, and over a long cycle. But even with all that effort, they often fail. So we started to look at it a little bit differently and said, why don't, if we have a look at it and think, rather than saying incremental change improvements, we come up with a pathway called Metrics That Matters. Metrics That Matter look at what are those key business metrics, financial, operational, and if we can get some fundamental change happening there, we can deliver a much bigger and quicker change without the risk that we see in the Big Bang approach, but with much more impact in the incremental approach. Metrics That Matter is a good place to start if your leadership isn't quite sure of what to do, but has clear ideas of where they can target. Another one that we did is called Scaling Edges, which is another pathway. Scaling Edges is about saying, is there an initiative that we could undertake that could potentially transform our business? And with the Scaling Edges model, what we look at doing is saying, rather than, again, Big Bang approach, let's focus on this initiative, let's find passionate people inside and outside the firm, and let's quickly get something out there and think about how we can scale it. So first pathway is Metrics That Matter. Second is Pragmatic Pathways, but perhaps the most adventurous of them all is what we call a shaping strategy. A shaping strategy is where you want to actually take an industry or an environment and say, I want to create a platform which empowers participants from across an ecosystem to come in and make change. A simple one of thinking around that model would be something like the Apple App Store community, where they've created a platform, they've created a huge community of people developing stuff and creating innovations and empowering them to do so, and has really fundamentally changed the mobile phone and I suppose what we think of computing and applications. So in the blog post, you'll see the full article. We've also put up a PowerPoint deck just explaining some of those things in more details, and also a model to be able to say, well, which pathway should I be thinking about choosing if I am going to undertake some of these initiatives. But anyway, have a look and good luck.